It's the Black Real Estate Dialogue. Tune in. Tune in. Tune in. Tune in.
What I'm noticing already from the first deal, we haven't even talked about any other ones, is that you seem to be relentless and you don't take no for an answer. For example, when you were talking about you called, how many banks do you think you called to try to get some
I
financing?
th- I think it's a probably it's more than 10 though. So I even though I call most of the local banks, I still call like other banks like Chase
Yeah,
banks that yeah, PNC and all of that. But the
yeah,
local ones were more responsive.
got it. So you called
Yeah,
a number of banks, and the
a
bank
lot of
who told
banks.
you it'll take this period of time, you're like, all right, I'll get the cars and do what y'all tell me to do, but I'm coming back with something that you can't refuse. And
Yeah,
so that's the first example. The second example is, a lot of investors, especially new investors, and I fell into this boat too. You feel kind of shy at first, especially when you're dealing with a
yeah,
property manager. You kind of defer to them because you think they might know better than you. But
yeah,
eventually you're able to see that what they're saying is not adding up. And I've been through that too. Like I've had to fire a property
yeah,
manager. So I think it's great that you investigated and really dug into the numbers and into the information that they were giving you to check it. And I want people to understand that too. Like you have a voice as well. Like you can confront and ask questions to the property
yes,
manager. And you really need to make sure that you're properly vetting the property manager. So I think it's great that you did those two things very early on. And also, you could have just quit and said, you know what,
yeah,
this is too much of a headache. I don't think real estate is for me. However, you decided to take that lesson and continue to move
yeah,
forward. So I think that's pretty awesome.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that property now, after once it's fixed up, I make about, so I had Section 8 tenants in there. So every month I make like a little less than $2,000. I think like 1,900 and something. So almost $2,000 my mortgage, because I was so desperate with the bank. I said, don't even make it 30. Now I regret why I said that, but I was like, make it 15, I'll pay. So my mortgage is like 350 something a month, but I'm making like $2,000 there, a little less than $2,000. So I've been cash flowing that property. So a few months later, I'm like, I'm ready to repeat this again, but I'm not finding any deal. Of course, you're not gonna find a deal like that again. Like you might, but it's not always like that easy. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
at this point, I'm so interested. Like it changed. I was like, even though the beginning was hard, now that seeing a property has appraised higher, 30, 40,000 over, and it's fixed up, and I'm having tenants coming in, and now it's like I'm in business because the bank can see like a track record. She has three
Right.
units that are cash flow. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm ready to do this again because I know now they're not going to say, and my credit is being built for the 3 months, right? So it's like, where else from the podcasts and other interviews that I listen to when like my research, a lot of people say Cleveland is a landlord friendly city, right? Landlord friendly state. So I was like, maybe I should look into that. So I just started doing my research in Cleveland area, and I just reach out to people on like different platforms and say, hey, my name is Yaamu. I'm a new real estate investor. I'm looking to invest in Cleveland. Do you have any advice or whatever? And a lot of people that I reach out to would say, hey, don't, yeah, welcome, but don't invest here. Invest here. This is B area. This is B area. This is C area. Don't go D here. This is the war zone. But all the areas that are telling me, I just started working. I don't have the kind of money to invest in. Like I have to like
Right.
look for something that works for me. So it's like the areas that they're telling me not to invest in are the ones I can afford. And looking at it is like, you mean like the black area mostly? That
Of
they would
course,
say
that's
it's
what they
the D
mean.
area. Yeah.
That's
So,
exactly what they
but
mean.
yeah, but I didn't know this before. After I knew, I
Yeah.
was like, I can live in on this street. Like all I see is people like me. Like I can live here. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna listen. This is what I can afford. So I went ahead and I closed on the duplex. That duplex. So there was a lady. She's a lawyer. And she has a construction company. So she gets properties from tax sales. Then she will fix them up and rent them and rent them turnkey or sell it turnkey. So I was able to close on this deal for 68,000, right?
Wow.
And yeah, imagine my down payment, 20% of 68. So all in, I was like less than 15K or whatever. So give the bank the tenants leases and everything. They new tenants. There's a seven something upstairs, six something downstairs. It's a duplex, right? So even though people say it was a D area, it's a D, but it's C coming. It will be C area very soon, right? It's not that bad of a D. So I just went in. I know it's gonna cash flow every month. I'm gonna have my rents coming in every month, and it's Section 8, right? And the tenants pay all the utilities. That property brings me about 1350 since then, and I've never been to Cleveland. But it the same people that were telling me, and like I could see from the mails that they sent me, the same people. I'm like, this is the same person I talked to. They're sending me a mail to buy that property for double what I bought it for. They're offering like 135, but I bought it for 68. When I'm like, this 7 months ago, you guys told me not to buy this house. And I'm like, I'm not selling it because I'm cash flowing. So what's the point of if I want to
Right.
refinance? Because I know if you're offering me 135 for something that I bought 68,000 less than a year ago, something's wrong, right?
Yep.
So, and I know even if like even if I sell it to you at 135, what's your profit? I know there's something that you will make there. So
Oh yeah.
whatever you're offering me, my house is not worth that. So I know my house is worth more than what you're offering me. So I never sell, but it's nice to know to call and say, okay, well, how much would you pay for it? Okay, we can close in 3 days. But I'm like, yeah, I know, but I'll think about it. But it's good for me to know how much it will sell for, how much it has appraised, right? So I don't listen. After that, I'm like, I'm not listening to anybody. I'm gonna invest what makes because whatever I'm doing works, right?
Right.
So right now I'm able to afford 100,000, 200,000, half $1 million house because of those houses that I buy for cheap that people tell you not to buy. So I just don't listen. I'm not gonna ask somebody who never invested in real estate about real estate because I had when I started like so my third deal I I was buying cash at this point like
Yeah.
10,000, 15,000 houses.
Before we get to the third deal, there's a couple of things I
Mhm,
want to make sure that we take from what you just said. There are
mhm.
so many people who have this whole, oh, this is like a war zone, this, that, and the other. And typically it's where we live, right?
Yeah,
And I'm not surprised that those same people who are trying to tell you not to invest in those areas were trying to buy your property in those
yeah,
areas.
yeah,
And it's so important for us to invest in our communities, right? Invest in
mhm,
general, but especially in communities with people who look like us, because the reality of it is like the hood is not going to be the hood anymore. I mean, we're
yeah,
seeing it in every large city. Things are
yeah,
changing, there's gentrification and all
yeah.
these things. Like, you know,
Mhm.
there's opportunity there, and we shouldn't turn away from opportunity and such great cash flow and being able to put good standards of housing just
Yeah,
because somebody on the internet said this is not
yeah.
an A or B area. Sometimes you just got to trust your instinct, you got to trust your research and invest. So I'm really glad that you did that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So at that point, I've already have my second deal, the same bank, the same people. So it's like easy when I found a deal. So I was like, okay, at this point, I think I'm ready to like, I saw a deal for like 15K. So when I see houses like 15, 13K, I would just buy them and I would just fix them with my contract for like 10K, 12K. So even though I know I don't have 12,000 to pay him, right? I put in all my money to buy the house. So I don't even have any money to pay him, right? I know that, okay, Section 8 money is coming for the first of the month. So I know, okay, that I will at least get $4,000 coming in plus whatever my job pays me, and I'll pay the contract. So I'm not paying the contractor in full. So I know, okay, by the time the 2 weeks is done, after I give you this 5,000, by the time 2 weeks done, I will get another 5,000. So I was just like, because I know money is coming. I was like, okay, I'll pay you on the first. So mind you, at this time, I don't have anything. Everything I have, I felt like I was late because I worked so much and I didn't save anything. So coming starting here, I'm like, I'm giving this my all. All my money goes in there. Like before closing, I'm checking, okay, what's the closing cost after the down payment? I'm only left with like, because the bank wants you to see at least some reserve. I'm struggling with the number. I'm like, okay, by the time we close, I think it would buy the first. So I will calculate because I'm tight with money when I started. So after this point, I'm buying 13,000 houses, put in 7,000, put it on Section 8 for 1,500 because I'm buying 4 5 bedroom houses, and a lot of markets in that area. A lot of landlords are doing Section 8 that they don't go for like bigger houses because it's like, oh, they will tear up your house because for me, my tenants pay all the utilities. If I have to pay for sewer, it's like every quarterly, I will still send you that bill. If it's really low, I'll just pay for it. But then if it goes high, I give you like a limit and say if it passed this is what you pay. But yeah, so I started buying cheap ones for cash. And then if I see a deal that is like more than what I have, more than what I don't want to put in, I would just go with the bank and I would take the Section 8 money and fix up that house as I go. So that's how I scaled.
Definitely. Is this still
Yeah.
in Cleveland?
Yeah. So I did Cleveland and then Illinois area. I just do Midwest. And I
Got it.
still
Got
live in
it.
Atlanta. Yeah.
Got it. What's up, y'all? Sam here from the Black Real Estate Dialogue podcast. Thank you so much for watching another episode. Definitely take a moment to subscribe. Make sure you like this video. Also, visit our website, blackrealestatedialogue.com, and follow on Instagram at Black Real Estate Dialogue. Talk to you soon.